There is nothing normal about global human population. For most of human history, and the human species is between 2 and 300,000 years old, for most of human history there has been well under 250 million people on the planet. We estimate that around the year 1500, global population reached about 500,000,000, and global population reached 1 billion people for the first time around the year 1800. It took about 130 years for this global population to double from 1 billion to 2 billion people, a number reached around 1928. Global population reached 3 billion by the year 1960 and 4 billion by the year 1974. Note that it only took around 45 years for global population to increase from 2 to 4 billion people, which was a doubling of global population. Global population reached 5 billion by around 1987, 6 billion by around 1999, 7 billion by the year 2011, and 8 billion by 2022. So notice that it took around 48 years for global population to double from 4 billion in 1974 to 8 billion in 2022. As the year 2026 began, global population was estimated at 8.3 billion people, a record high. This global increase is because the number of people born outnumber the people who die. So global population is increasing because of this net growth of population. There were a few years in the late 1980s and early 1990s when more than 90 million people were added to global population each year. That has decreased somewhat. There was a dip as a result of the COVID pandemic around the year 2020. And lately, global population has increased at 70 million or slightly more than that individuals per year. So at the beginning of the year 2026, there were 70 million more people on planet Earth than there were at the beginning of the year 2025. From the point of view of a stable global population, where the number of births replaced the number of deaths, this would mean that the global population could be maintained indefinitely rather than rising to a point that global resources might not be able to sustain the global population. From that standpoint, the drop in fertility has been a positive step forward towards a sustainable future. In the year 1950, the average fertility was 5 children per woman/couple. In recent years, it has been less than half that, which is a positive step forward as it approaches 2.2 children per woman/couple, which would be replacement fertility, which would mean that human global population would remain the same potentially indefinitely. One can see that in this graph of the annual percent in the rate of change of global population. So while the population continues to increase, so more people are being added, the rate at which it is increasing has been dropping. There was a period between 1965 and 1972 where population growth rate was over 2%, being as high as 2.2% in 1963. Ever since the year 2019, global population growth rate has been less than 1% a year. So the population is still growing, but at a slower rate than it had been.